Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the real world. Let's get real. I am your only host today, Kara Rafferty. Jamie Michelle King will be back another day. We are very lucky to have a speaker with us today, local to the greater Albany capital region. We have Derek Foster. Say hello, Derek.
Hey, Kara, thanks for having me.
So today we're going to talk a little bit with Derek about his company that he has had. How many years now has Daigle Cleaning?
It's been 8. We've been in business a little over 8 years now.
That's fantastic. That's really good. I love to hear it. You're going to be celebrating that double digit pretty soon here.
Yeah, it's exciting. Time flies. Tell you what.
Right. So we're going to talk today a little bit about his company's background, which is particularly commercial cleaning. We find that it's a hot button right now for so many reasons, but I also think it's a really great time to talk with Derek, who's been in the industry, real estate industry, for 8 years plus, and talk to him about where we have the opportunity to be proactive now with our subcontractors, vendors, third party, whatever you want to call them. I think, being in sales primarily myself, we know that we're trying to always have these conversations about the what if, have a contingency, be ready. And then we're going to go into that today a little bit. So Derek, can you first start us off with a little bit of background about Daigle Cleaning, how you kind of got started or what your niche was before when you got started, what's your niche now? Give us some background.
Sure. As I've said before, we've been in business now for a little over 8 years. It goes by quickly, but getting back to how we got started, my background was in construction. So I worked in construction through high school and college, to help pay the bills. And I ended up graduating from RPI in 2011, and shortly thereafter, jumping into business. Never really know, what you're going to do in life, but I found kind of a niche in the cleaning industry, and it's been good to me. And, my mom and I partnered up shortly after, and we've been going ever since. So we specialize in commercial post-construction cleanups. We do janitorial, carpet cleaning, floor care, you name it, do it. We also have a residential maid service, which is a little bit of a smaller portion of our business. But we do clean a lot of our commercial clients' homes as an add-on service for our main core business. Yeah,
that's actually how I got to meet you, is when you were doing some add-on business for my family. So small world. Okay. So, I guess I have a question off the cuff I didn't talk to you about. How does it feel to now be one of the essential workers, one of the people that maybe wasn't deemed a necessity? I mean, cleaning and, sexy aren't really two words that go together. People don't find it, very, hot industry, right? So, what does it feel like to be all of a sudden deemed an essential worker?
We're just very fortunate to be able to, help in any way that we can throughout the pandemic. We're very fortunate. Our staff understands that they're very fortunate to be able to continue to get up and go to work every day. Obviously with the circumstances, we've had to change, a little bit of our process and procedures, on the back end as to how we handle it, just to make sure everybody is staying safe and healthy. But, we're thankful. There's a lot of folks out there in the restaurant industry who, they're not able to get up and do their daily routine and go to work. Family that's in the car business, same thing. So, I think everybody is kind of making changes and coping and dealing with this together. And we're just, grateful to be able to help in any way we can. We've actually taken on some staff members from other industries who, are not deemed an essential business. And we've actually been able to put them to work and allow them to continue somewhat, of a normal daily routine, which has been, great as well. We're just looking to help in any way that we can, being able to go in and disinfect businesses and, clean up, wherever there is a COVID-19 positive test. We've done a lot of those over the past few weeks. It's just nice to be able to go in and make a positive contribution.
So how does that look? So you get the call that there's a suspected confirmed case or a flat out confirmed case. What
Yep.
what does your staff do? Walk us through, maybe not step by step, but give us the general steps. What do you do?
Sure. Well, I mean, it obviously depends on the urgency. We bend over backwards for our clients. We're in the customer service business, and that's what we do. So depending on the urgency of the situation, we've had some calls that have been, more of a help, we need you right now type of situation for other essential businesses that are still operating. And they have had, a positive test or a suspected case. Those are pretty urgent. So we try to respond, as quickly as possible. I was trimming trees in the yard weeks ago, got a call on a Saturday and dropped everything and ran over, to take a look at a client's building. It's just, you got to do what you got to do. And we're just trying to keep it safe and healthy. But the biggest thing is to assess the situation. Obviously when you're walking into something that's a little bit unknown, we have to protect ourselves. So, proper PPE and making sure that, we're wearing the proper protection, just in the case that, you know, there is a potential um, uh, a way to contract or a way to contract it. You know what I mean? So we're doing the best we can to protect ourselves, take a look, assessing the situation, formulating a plan as to how we're going to go in and handle a facility. We've had everything from, warehouses to office spaces, vehicles, you name it. So each call is a little bit different. So we take it on a case by case basis, develop a plan and then deploy our resources, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but it's interesting because you're saying how, you got to protect yourselves. And I think about the warehouse, and you're really protecting everyone because you don't want to continue the cycle. You're trying to stop it where it is, and not bring it with you,
Correct. Yeah.
outside of your own safety.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our staff members, that's probably the biggest change that we've made, and for the foreseeable future, obviously, until, we can rest assured that this is behind us. All of our staff, they're wearing PPE every day. They're wearing masks to prevent, any potential spread if they don't show symptoms yet, but maybe a carrier. We take our staff's temperature every morning when I'm in. So we actually have infrared thermometers that we're testing our staff every day, and making sure that they stay safe. If anybody comes in and has a slight cough, I know it's allergy season, so there's a little bit of a rub there and some confusion sometimes. But even if anybody reports a cough or anything that could be deemed a potential symptom, we tell everybody to stay home. So we've had that happen, to a couple staff members. But again, we're protecting our staff as well as those in the community.
No, absolutely. I hear you. The couple times I have to go out, I have a bottle of water for my seasonal cough as well, because I certainly don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So I hear you there. So talk to me more about, two things, I guess. I think what's really interesting, we had some pre-conversation and I asked you, what are you doing differently today? And I think, the one question you're getting asked so much right now, which is, what are you doing differently today? And what's nice to hear is you're pretty much doing what you did before, and you guys were just pros at it. You already had it perfected, so to say.
Well, there's a lot that goes in. I mean, we have a lot of experience behind us now at this point. We've tweaked and refined our processes for quite some period of time now. So when the pandemic hit, a lot of our clients, I was getting a lot of calls. So what are you doing differently? What are you doing now that you weren't doing before? And the answer that I gave them, and I was confident to be able to say it honestly, well, we're not really doing much different. We're cleaning and following the same processes that we were before. However, we are just adding an EPA registered disinfectant that is registered to kill coronavirus, this particular strand as well. So, really, we didn't have to make a ton of changes on the front end in what we were doing in the field. Really where our changes came in were the PPE and just making sure that everybody is protected, and some of our behind the scenes processes back here at the office and at the warehouse.
So was this chemical, without going into great detail, was this chemical a new one, or is this something you've been using in the past and it's readily available to you guys? I'm so curious how that
Sure.
quantity?
No, we actually had EPA registered disinfectants that were proven for COVID-19 in stock. The CDC put out a list of all of their registered products that are deemed effective against it. And turns out a lot of the products that we're already using, we use them in special circumstances and in certain situations where, we need to disinfect and clean. So we already had that in our arsenal. And a couple months ago, we kind of anticipated that things would escalate to a point where we would need to, deploy a significant quantity of it. So we were able to order it and make sure that we were prepared. So, we do have plenty of that, and we were fortunate to be able to do that at the time we did.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear. I'm so curious about that type of stuff. Talk to me about um, being proactive. So hopefully we never are in a situation where we need to call on our commercial cleaners as fast as we are now. But of course there's situations that you find biohazard in the apartments, or there's situations where working with a subcontractor would always become part of your natural flow.
Sure.
Talk to us about, what kind of questions do you think it's important for a property owner, someone in real estate, to ask when they're interviewing a new commercial cleaner? What type of things should they be asking, or what type of conversation should they have, and how early should they be having this conversation?
Well, I think, it's always good to develop relationships in business. We have vendors, ourselves, that we've had a working relationship for years and years. Everybody, it's a small community here. I think at the end of the day, it's a very small world. So I think just by developing and working to build a relationship with a third party vendor and having someone reliable that you can call on, when needed, I think that's key, because you never know when, something like this is going to come up. You never know when a staff member is going to call in sick, or, I've gotten calls from some commercial property owners whose, their cleaning staff, they've had a couple people out due to a heart attack, and they were out a month or two.
Yeah.
Well, then what do? You still have apartments that need to be turned over. You still have things that need to get done. And, you want to make sure that that person's position is obviously, still available for when they get healthy again. Sometimes it's good just to have somebody to rely on, to be able to call in those types of circumstances and say, hey, can you help us out for a couple of months? And again, we do the best that we can to bend over backwards for our clients and, develop those relationships over time. Due to the pandemic, we've developed a couple relationships with some new companies who typically, do everything in-house. However, they want an added layer of protection, and some of the certifications and training that we have, their own staff didn't have. So we were able to go in and, basically, cover their butt, be able to, advise them in a way and help assist and be an add-on to their current staff. So I think it's very important, and it does take time to develop those relationships. So, I try to get to networking events whenever possible. I do have a 9-month-old now at the house, and that takes up some more time. I don't get out as much as I used to, but you meet new people, and you try to develop those relationships early on, because again, you never know. I've had folks that I met 2 and 3 years ago, and we've had something happen with one of our vendors, and next thing you know, it's, oh shoot, who can I call to help me out?
Yeah.
And when you already have that relationship, it makes it easy.
All right. So what I took away from this is, when you're talking to a vendor, early is of course key first, because you might want to do a trial run with somebody and kind of see how they're doing for you before you make them your subcontractor of choice, right? Preferred subcontractor. You want to ask about certifications, training, how do you communicate? Essentially, you want to ask, how can I reach you? How, what's turnaround time to get back to me? What type of, training do you provide people? Certifications? What else would you add to that
Sure.
list?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I digressed a little bit there,
No, no,
but
no. You were doing good.
some of the questions, definitely that I think property owners and folks should ask are you insured? Some of the basics. There's a lot of folks running around out there, without proper insurance and without the proper training. And it's important that you ask those questions up front. References always help as well. We get a lot of folks who ask for our references all the time. And again, relationship building, it all plays into it. If you have a good relationship with your clients or your vendors and somebody asks you for a reference, then again, it's no problem for you to be able to turn that over. And we've seen a lot of that as well. So those are all good questions. I always got a lot of questions in terms of what types of products that we use. Some facilities are a little bit more sensitive to certain products than others are. Some have certain products that are required. So those are all good questions as well. Just making sure that, you go into a meeting with a vendor prepared, create a list, take some time, think of some of the things that, you might not, think to ask off the top of your head, have them written down. So that way, you can discuss those when you do meet with that potential third party.
Do you think that this upcoming spring season, turn season for the apartment communities, the larger ones, or any size apartment, right, community, home, do you believe that we're going to need to move forward with more of a deep cleaning, work with your subcontractors as we, try to build trust with the new residents coming in?
I think, yeah, and we're seeing that quite a bit. A lot of our current clients have added cleanings. They've added days that there. They've added specific disinfection cleanings. So I think that's definitely a wise decision to be able to show that you're being proactive and have the best interest of the residents in mind. I also see a lot of our clients right now, since everybody's a little bit more idle in regards to some of our office clients, as well as some of the apartment communities, looking to get caught up on some things that maybe they've been pushing off. Now I think hopefully we're out of the snowy season. Hopefully we won't see any more snow this year. But I think a lot of times floor work will get pushed off. Now is a good time typically to get that done while nobody's in the office or nobody's in certain areas of the building. So there's definitely things that you can do to be proactive and keep up with your building maintenance and your internal customers, your residents, and for a lot of companies, there are folks that are working in the office. When they come back in and they see that everything's been cleaned and disinfected, it's going to go a long way, to make them comfortable and allow them to be productive, within their first week back.
So another question that I'm wondering is, do you have have you found an increase, is what I should say, in your logs and the way that you're documenting the cleaning and sending it over so that they can show that they have had thorough cleanings? Let's say in the washer and dryer room. Let's use that for example. You can't close that down 24/7. Yes, it's a community space and you've been advised to close them down, and you guys are going in and you're cleaning it. Do you see logs, almost like I think of like a bathroom at a restaurant where you see a log? Is that something that you see that might start to be part of the new norm, that you have some kind of log in these rooms that are showing how often and when it was cleaned?
Sure. Well, we actually have, in all of our commercial accounts, a specific checklist and that we go through, according to whatever the agreement is that we have with the client. Some have obviously added days and that's changed a little bit. I think that's, a great idea. We have our own internal log for that, which the client doesn't always see in their internal customers. If it's an apartment community, their residents, they don't always see that. But one thing that we're doing, right up front when we do start doing these disinfection cleanings and adding days, we actually have a COVID-19 process that we put in place, and we're sending our clients updates weekly in regards to the virus and certain precautions and things they can do to be proactive. But I think really it's important, obviously, to document that. So we're sending our information, our processes over to those clients, and they're able to post that wherever they need to,
Sure.
just to show that they are going above and beyond what they normally do.
Yeah. Good stuff. What else you got in your mind today? Anything else?
Well, the sun is shining, so it's good. It's it's a good day. No, we're grateful to be able to continue to operate, and if anybody is in the restaurant or bar industry that's listening and does want to jump on and help fight the pandemic, we're welcoming applicants now. You can go onto our website, dagoclean.com. We have an application on there. You're more than welcome to apply. We'll get you in for an interview and see where it goes. And please keep us in mind if anybody needs any advice or has any questions for me. Feel free to reach out. I am available. My email address is derek@dagoclean.com, or you can go directly on our website on our information page or questionnaire page. Send me a contact. Feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. More than willing to work with everybody and try to help them out and pull through this together.
That's great. And I'll drop your contact information in the notes below of the YouTube channel. And as of the end of the week, we'll have our Apple podcast ready to download. So if you're listening, I'll make sure to drop those in the comments as we start to build those up. Derek, thank you very much. I think one last question is, what is your coverage area around this area? How far north, west, east, south do you travel?
Sure, that's a great question. And we cover from south of Albany, Glenmont, Delmar area, all the way up to Lake George and beyond. For larger projects, we will travel, an hour or two. We're not afraid to do that. So again, we do cover a large service area, and even if you're outside of our service area or think that you may be outside of our service area, still feel free to reach out. We do have some folks, some partners that we work with that we could probably refer you to. So feel free to utilize this as a resource as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Episode 6, third-party vendor best practices, especially in a COVID-19 world, with Derek. Thank you again. All right, we'll tune in next week. We will have a new speaker for you, fresh topic. We're always looking for new ideas. And of course, please subscribe so that you get notification about all upcoming podcasts. Thank you, Derek. Have a great day.
Thanks, Kara. Good talking with you.